All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for WLBT Plus First Alert Weather Edition. Have a lot to talk about. So again, we are under that First Alert Weather Day for the day tomorrow and Friday morning for the chance to see that wintry precip for some portions of central Mississippi. But you cannot guess that just by looking out there right now. It is a nice cloudy look for us. Again, little cool as you are getting your day started. A lot of us still flirting with the freezing temperatures, and it feels a whole lot colder as you are going on throughout the day today, all thanks to that northwesterly wind at roughly 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you are going on out, make sure you bundle up. It's going to be cold, and it's going to stay cold for the rest of the day today.
Yes, and eventually we will see some sunshine return. So that is some good news. It's going to be a little bit brighter later on this afternoon. Highs a little bit warmer, still going to be well below average, but we'll see highs top out in the low to mid 40s across much of central and southwest Mississippi. And we'll carry those clear sky conditions into the overnight hours, which will allow temperatures to drop overnight back into the 20s. So still going to be dealing with hard freeze conditions early tomorrow morning, but not necessarily talking about a wintry mix just yet. That's going to come later in the day on Thursday and into your Friday, which is why we have first alert weather days in place Thursday and for your Friday. As of right now, there are some winter storm watches, but that does not include our viewing area just yet. But that we're on the border of where those watches have been issued, more so for the northern part of the state. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. As of right now, talking a little bit more about the timing, it looks like things will stay relatively quiet for your Thursday morning commute, which is some good news. Not expecting any impacts for the beginning of your Thursday. We may see some wintry mix move in by the evening commute on Thursday, but mainly for areas in the lower delta. And again, with that, we could see sleet and freezing rain, maybe even some accumulating snowfall in our far most northern counties. But we'll start to see that coverage increase throughout Thursday night. But again, this all is going to come down to temperatures. It looks like it will be cold enough for some kind of wintry mix, especially in the lower delta by around 9-10 o'clock. But it also looks like it's not going to stay necessarily that cold, below freezing by around 1-2 o'clock in the morning. It looks more like a cold rain event as we head into the later part of the morning into by the time you get ready to wake up on Friday. It looks like more of a heavy rain situation, and more of that wintry mix stays further off to the north. Again, all going to come down to temperatures when we're talking about that wintry mix.
Yeah, and you could see 2 to 4 inches of rainfall for areas south of I-20. I mean, we've kind of really focused on the fact that some portions north and along I-20 could be seeing that freezing rain, the wintry mix, but areas to the south, you could be dealing with a flash flooding risk for some portions of central Mississippi. So we've not really talked about that too much. And I was just noticing, like glancing at a graphic this morning, I was like, I mean, we are expecting
one to 2 inches of rain.
Yeah, there's a good bit that we could see in some areas further off to the south, with the fact that it's going to be settling in for almost the whole night and into the early morning commute time. So something to watch out for.
Yes. But it's not going to be severe by any means. I know sometimes we see these darker colors when we're talking severe weather. Not going to be the case. It's going to be far too cold for that, even further off to the south. So right now it's looking more like a cold rain event as we continue into Friday morning. It looks like things will begin to clear out by around the lunch hour, and then we're left with just dry conditions for the rest of your Friday. But as I mentioned, it's all going to come down to where that freezing line is as we head into Thursday night. It starts to creep further into our far most northern counties and off to the east also for the later part of Thursday night and heading into around midnight. But then you kind of start to see it linger in our far most northeastern counties. That's kind of lining up where we could still be dealing with that freezing rain, sleet mix by Friday morning. But eventually then that freezing line retreats further off to the north, and then we're left with just rain for the rest of the event. So good news is it looks like models are trending warmer, so maybe less of an issue Friday morning. But it's also looking like there still could maybe be impacts if you're going to be out Thursday night. I don't recommend being out Thursday night, but it looks like things are still slightly improving when it comes to the potential for that winter weather.
Yeah, and we're right on that fine line here. If you live in the metro, it's I believe Dave has described it as the mixed bag. And again, that means anything's possible. A slight temperature change could easily determine if we see rainfall or if we see that snow ice accumulation, the wintry mix that we've been talking about further off to the north. Easily could see that in some portions here along and to the north of I-20, mainly because the models have been all over the place with this system, people. And I mean, it's been no stranger that it's been hard to forecast. One day it'll say that we're expecting the ice. The next it'll be saying that we're expecting rain. So I want you to be aware that it can change, so you're not caught off guard, and just
prepare for the worst. But we're hoping for the best. I would say expect more rain than anything.
Expect more rain than anything. But again, I want you to be prepared just in case the temperature does change even slightly. You could have some issues into some portions along I-20, but mainly off to the north and to the east is where we're going to be seeing the higher likelihood of that accumulation. You're right along that freezing line. Again, depending on how far north or south that is, you could be impacted, but make sure you are staying weather aware into the day tomorrow. That'll be a real determining factor in how warm it gets during the day and to what we could see into that night. So there's a lot of question marks, people. So I'm sorry for making you think that you just don't know exactly what's going to be going on, but I want you to just stay weather aware. Make sure you have ways of staying updated, because tomorrow is the day that we will really have a very clear idea into what you can expect.
And I think a good point Dave made yesterday to bring to your attention. It also is going to depend on how cold we get. Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, because if it gets cold enough, it will be easier for it to get that cold again. Yeah. It'll be easier for that to happen versus if we don't get as cold, it's going to be harder for temperatures to drop to that freezing.
What the overnight lows are for the day?
It's tomorrow.
Tonight.
They're supposed to be in the upper 20s, low 30s. Yeah. But with the wind chill, it may feel slightly colder. But again, still all going to come down to the temperatures, basically, when we're talking about this winter weather.
Models are not an exact science, people. So, I mean, if it was, it would make our job super easy, especially being here in the Southeast. You don't really get to see this type of stuff too often. So it's very important. Take this serious. But again, most of us are just going to be expecting a cold rain, especially areas along into the south of I-20. Areas to the north and possibly along could see that wintering mix. So make sure you have multiple ways of staying updated, because like we've continued to say, tomorrow it all depends on the temperature. And we're going to keep saying that over and over and over again.
Yes. And also something to note, regardless if it is going to be wintry mix or not, and you're going to be traveling, I do still expect some kind of travel impacts on Friday, because it does look like a bit of a heavy to moderate rainfall for an extended period of time. So I would still give yourself extra time heading out the door on Friday morning, even if we're not talking about a wintry mix in your specific location. So again, preparing for the worst. We're still hoping for the best. Yeah. Right now, models are trending on the better end. So that is a good thing. But just to recap, first alert weather days for Thursday night and into Friday morning. Could still be dealing with wintry mix Thursday evening. Looks to transition more into a rain event Friday morning. We may see some snowflakes afterwards. So
don't get mad at us if you see a snowflake here in downtown and you're thinking, the guy told me it's going to be raining.
So on the back end of the system, we may see some flurries. Not going to be talking about an accumulation type of situation, but we may see some snowflakes Friday afternoon. And then after that, we're pretty much going to be dealing with dry weather. Still going to be pretty cold into the beginning of this weekend, especially in the mornings, dropping down to the upper 20s, low 30s, and then the 40s on Saturday. 50s return on Friday. So, or not Friday, Sunday. I'm getting my days mixed up. And then we'll see 50s next week.
Been a long week.
I know we've had a lot of weather going. A lot of weather going on.
Very busy in the weather department.
But yeah, so we'll see the 50s return next week. Still going to be a little chilly, but that's all I have. So for the rest of today, it's going to be relatively quiet. Again, first alert weather days, Thursday, Friday, due to the potential for wintry mix. Looking more so seeing that wintry mix on Thursday evening. And then it looks to transition more into rain by Friday morning.
Yeah. Again, be patient as you go forward into the day on Thursday and Friday. It won't be a washout for Thursday. So don't start thinking that you're going to get off work on Thursday morning, because you'll more than likely see the travel impacts into Friday morning. So again, it depends on what we see into the overnight hours, if it's mainly going to be rain for your area, or if it's mainly going to be that sleet, freezing rain mixture. Again, still up in the air right now. I want you to all be aware that this is a very fluid situation. So stick with us throughout the day today and throughout most of the day tomorrow for more updated looks into what you can expect. But that's all we got for you right now. Again, we'll see you tomorrow to give you another really big update into what you can expect for your first alert weather day. Have a great day.